What's up, guys? It's Confessions of a Doctorholic with Hafsa Slayman. And today I've got the Michael Jordan of medical school, aka Ronak, on air. And we're talking about a problem that affects every single medical student and also people in general. So tune in if you want to know what I'm on about. Every medical student complains about this. We've got so much to study. How do we have a balanced life? Rah, rah, rah. Mm-hmm. But everyone has this problem. How do you balance your life with work? Okay, let's take it a step back. So, what do we mean by work-life balance?
In the sense that even if you have something that's important in your life, like your career, and you're doing whatever you need to do for that career, you have to balance every other aspect of your life. So whether it's taking care of your health, both mental and physical, making sure you're eating well, making sure you're just exploring your hobbies and just hanging out and socializing.
Yep. And what happens when there's an imbalance? Stress. So you can get cardiovascular disease and you get broken heart syndrome if you stress too much. You can get sexual health problems. You can get a weak immune system. You can get headaches and also have like backaches and neck aches. And some people also revert to not so great habits. So you can end up drinking to alleviate that stress or smoking to alleviate that stress. So you need to have a balance.
I think it's honestly the most efficient way too. Even if I'm a student and I'm thinking, okay, if I study more all the time, I'll be a better student. I'll probably be more efficient if I do honestly balance my life out.
And also, so in terms of careers and jobs, and I think this is actually relevant for everyone studying whatever, you need to be like a golden student. So you can't just be that person with good grades. That's not enough to get you the job. You need to be that student that does so many different things on the side. You've got like volunteering experience, you've got research experience, you've got some hobbies on the side, wouldn't kill to look fit as well, you know? So I feel like it's kind of key to have that balance. And also, it's kind of like a risk versus benefit sort of thing. So like, say, out of 24 hours in the day, say you spend 7 hours sleeping, if you take 1 hour out and go to the gym, does it really affect how much you study? What's 1 hour? You know? I feel like I'd waste 1 hour doing other things as well.
I agree with you completely. If you go to bed knowing that you're going to get this many hours of sleep, you can realize how to use your spare time better, more than everything, because you know what spare time you have. For me, the biggest thing is that, so our schedules in our program come out on Monday, and as soon as Monday hits, I have to plan out the week. Meaning I have to figure out which days I'm going to go to the gym, which days I won't, figure out if I'm going to do sports on the weekend or whatever, when I'm going to cook my meals. Everything has to be laid out, but I have to choose my priorities first. So the first thing that goes on my calendar is the school schedule, because those are just mandatory things that you can't compromise on. Or I'm just telling you guys how I do it. You guys can find your own way, but that's how I do it. And then I fit in all my leisure activities and hobbies and whatever else I need to do around it.
Okay.
But planning is key.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm on the same boat as you.
Okay.
So the minute we get a schedule, that's it. Like I put in the lectures that I want to attend. I cross out the ones that I don't really want to attend, or like ones that are repetitive. And then I put in all the extra work. So, okay, I need to cover this. I need to cover this. I need to cover that. And then I also prioritize. So I feel like it is important for all of us to know when to say no. So you might have a great opportunity. You might have some research that you can add to your belt. But like, was it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I feel like it's really important to say no. And I do think I actually struggle with that. Like I tend to put more things on my plate than take off things from my plate.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think most people would say the exact opposite. Not about you, but in general, that they end up, they just don't plan ahead enough to know what things they need to do in advance. Not in advance necessarily, but like the example you brought up, research. For me, did research in undergrad but wasn't published. But if I would have known in advance and planned it out, I would have worked towards that.
Yeah.
So it's...
I see what you mean. Yeah, no, I tend to, like, if I get opportunities, so, like, at the moment, I'm an osmosis ambassador, I've got some research going on, but, like, I just tend to pile things on my plate. And the key is to place it where it's necessary. So, like, if I know that I've got an osmosis event coming up, that will take priority for the week. if I know that I have a recording done for the podcast that I need to do, then that would take priority for the week. And like, I make sure that I edit on weekends when I have slightly more free time.
We're polar opposites here. For me, it's like, okay, you could go hang out, but no, you need to set a time to study. Whereas for you, it seems like you're really productive all the time, and I might need to remind you that you need to take some time, you know?
Oh, I'm not productive all the time, but like, if I had a great productive day, so yesterday for me was great. I was super productive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Today, not so much. But I've got a schedule. It's color-coded so that I'm like, okay, I can do that next. I have to do that next. I can move this around. I finished this task earlier, so I can add this other task. Another thing to do is not to pack your timetable. I tend to do that. I'm like, I'm superwoman, I can finish all of this, but to be honest, no. You need to tell yourself, okay, ideally, I would love to finish all of these things, but realistically, all of these things are not going to happen today.
Yeah.
So you just have to take a step back.
And that's realistic that you can still do it efficiently and have quality results from what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because after a while, it's just going to fall down if you pile it up too high.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, I feel like people should use technology.
What do you mean? To like stay organized or
Yeah,
what?
to stay organized. Like, you've got so many apps out there to keep your priorities straight, to insert things in your calendar. Like, say you want to meet people. I don't think you should go like, you know what, no, I'm not going to meet people. No, go out, meet people. But like, insert that into your timetable, because I feel like if you know that that's coming up, so say you have a class reunion in 2 weeks, chuck that into your calendar. If you know that that's coming up at the end of 2 weeks, then you're going to go like, okay, I know that I'm definitely having a break Saturday evening. So in the meantime, I have to be super productive so that I can take that break.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I know there is a push for it, because there's some times where I'll get a notification on my phone for something. I'm like, I did not put this in there, and I have no idea what this is. And then I'll realize there was an email that was sent and that they've already put it in my calendar for me.
Oh, that's
And then it reminds me, it's like, oh, I love technology for this reason when I want to get stuff done.
Exactly. I tend to forget things all the time. So I love it when my phone goes like 15 minutes before the event. By the way, you've got class next. It's like, oh, thank God, because I would have been asleep. I would have been doing God knows what. I would have been chatting. 90% of the time, I would be chatting with someone. So it's good when my phone goes like, okay, you've had enough. You've spoken too much. You need to take a break. Go back to your studying right now. So that's great.
For me, I've got my reminder set for every event half an hour in advance. Because if I have half an hour in advance, I pretty much have no excuse for not doing it.
Another thing that I want to remind all of you is to get help when you need it. So if you feel like things are getting overwhelming, maybe go and speak to someone about it.
Because I can almost guarantee whoever you're going to speak to has been in the same situation before and has had to go to someone else too.
Exactly.
You have to do it sometimes.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
And I don't think it's shameful. You know how some people go like, oh my God, like I don't want to speak to the psychologist. It's so embarrassing. I don't think people should look at it this way.
No, not at all. I mean, you have your strengths and your weaknesses, and if you need to talk to somebody that can...
Yeah.
If that's their strength, there's no problem with asking someone for help.
And maybe they can shed light on your situation so they can help you sort things out and make things better for you.
Yeah, because you get a new viewpoint on it, a new perspective, and I agree with you.
And finally, I just want to say, take care of yourself. So as you mentioned before, what do you do in your free time? You play basketball, don't you?
I try to play basketball once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the gym a couple times.
Yeah.
And then, well, okay, that's mostly physical activity. But leisure things that I know are just not productive at all that I enjoy to do is if I can find 23 minutes to watch an episode of How I Met Your Mother or That 70s Show or one of those awful comedies that have just been on the air forever. That's my go-to.
Oh, really?
Every time.
That sounds awesome.
And I can't find new shows to watch either. I've watched the same 3 shows probably 7 or 8 times through, and I just keep watching them.
Yeah. So I play volleyball, and I tend to go to the gym every night of the week. And I know that's a little bit of overkill, but it's just such a good stress outlet for me. I mean, I could spend that hour studying something else. I could spend that hour doing more questions. But at the end of the day, this is good for me, for my soul, for my physical and mental health. If you're listening to me right now, I want you to stop feeling guilty about the little things you indulge in. So if you want to watch a show like Ronak does, go for it. What's 23 minutes? I'd rather you spend that time either doing physical activity or doing something that actually nourishes your soul and makes you feel good.
And honestly, it's a good thing. Like you said, you do it the weekdays. You know that that's your routine at least.
Yeah.
It's something that you can maybe look forward to or...
That's exactly
right. And also keep you disciplined to do it if maybe you don't want to go to the gym certain days.
That's exactly right. And it's also like, I always feel like I hit a bump. Like, the minute the sun sets, I feel like nothing's going to go in my head. I can't study any longer. So I would much rather go to the gym and then I feel more alive and I'm more likely to come back and go like, yay, back to the grinding time, you know?
I agree. I do that around like, for me, I don't plateau at like when the sun goes down. For me, I get tired around lunchtime, around 2 p.m. and then I either need a coffee or go to the gym or something. It's just a second wave, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's so important to have breaks because that helps you out. So I found this work-life balance quiz. So I'm going to send it to all of you and let me know how you went. Do you have a balanced life or are you more work-oriented? And based on that, definitely text me or Ronak on Instagram and let us know how you're coping with it. Let us know if you need any tips, any tricks, whether you're a medical student, whether you're not a medical student, and you have nothing to do with the medical field. Feel free to contact us. We will try to find you solutions.
And be humble and tell us if you're more on the not work end of the spectrum too.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind learning some new skills.
Yeah.
#rock climbing.